Whoa, thank you. Woo! Ed Marisiak here from East Toronto Living, and in this video, check this out. We're going to be talking about a property that's been on the market for 14 years. 14 years! WTF! I mean, seriously. Okay, if you want to hear more about this property, stay tuned. Okay, so hey, if y'all can do me a real big favor, real big flavor. You know, if this material is useful for you, and if you're getting value from my content, you know, please subscribe if you haven't already. You know, share the video, leave a comment, and like, because it really helps the channel grow. Channel's doing really well, and I've got some exciting things coming up, and I don't want you to miss it, because if you subscribe, you're going to get access to all my content on a regular basis. We're definitely going to be upping the frequency of videos again, but I'm just going to hold off on that for the time being. But okay, also, hey, if you're looking to buy or sell any real estate, or you got any questions about real estate, here's my contact information. You know, give me a call, text me, email me, send me a carrier pigeon, and we'll set up a Zoom meeting. We'll meet for coffee. Oh, I love meeting people for coffee, because, you know, there's so many great places, and I just want to get to know you. You know, if I get to know you, you get to know me, I can better help you, and it's just going to be a smooth and enjoyable process, at least more so. Okay, so now before we dive into this article, the reporting here is from BlogTO, but here's the rub. I'm going to be talking about a property here, and I do not have permission to talk about this property. So I'm going to be talking in generalities and vague terms to some degree, because like I said, I don't have permission here, and but it's on. But I could talk a little bit about it, because it's on BlogTO, and I mean, it's public domain. But there's still there's still rules that I have to adhere to, you know, privacy and so forth. But okay, so the reporting is from BlogTO. You'll see it. I mean, for one thing, okay, they first listed it. I did some research here. They started this the whole process here in 2011, and in 2011 they even then it's a nice place. I'll give them that, but I mean, this is an example of folks that are in fantasy land in a big way. I mean, clearly they're not motivated to sell. Why are you doing this to yourself? Having people tromp through your home and have it on the market for so many years, have probably had hundreds, probably thousands of people going through your home, and for what? I mean, I'm sure they probably have all kinds of professionals come in and say, guys, you know, this is anyway. But let's. It is nice. I'll give them that. And okay, so they back in 2011 they started this whole process here at $2,750,000, and according to this reporting here, they had no bites. Well, duh. Okay, so I went back to the Market Watch here. I have full access to everything here now. In 2011. You know, from 2010 to 2011, actually, this is the very end of 2011 here. So 2011, there was a 4% increase. So the average house back then was 410,000. So let's just do a little bit of quick math here. Their asking price was about 6 times the average price at the time. Now, an average home, you know, 410,000, that would have been like a semi or something like that. So back then, 2011, you probably can pick up a reasonable detached home for about $550. Now, the kind of property that they were they were selling was probably about $1 million. You know, and I think that is pretty steep back in that day. But they insisted that the property was worth 2.7 million, basically 6 times what an average home was selling for. Fair enough. Okay, but let's. So what they did was they dropped the price down to 1.975. And they still had no bites. Well, still, guys, you're almost double the price of the average of anything remotely close to what was comparable to your property. Okay, so then they, I guess they took the property off the market and relisted it in 2013. They actually listed it for $4 million. So it wasn't bad enough that it was $1 million and something overpriced. They decided then to double it. Hey, let's go for double or nothing. Why not? Now I went back and researched some more here. So in 2012, real estate went up 4.3%, went up 9%. Pardon me. And that was the average sale for a house back then was 464,000, and then it went up again the following year to 2013. So it went up another 4.3%. So okay, so we're at a total of 13.3% here increase in 2 years. And they increased the price. They were already double of what the market bared at the time, but they decided also to take it up another 25% on top of the double of value of what homes should sell for at that period. Of course, they had no takers because they also they dropped the price to 3.7%. Big deal. So no takers again. But they got lucky. They actually did find a renter here that was paying a decent amount of money, over $12,000 a month. Good for them. At least they got a little bit wise. So I guess they had a renter for a long time, which is great, and so they got some income from that. Good for them. That was a good move on their part. But then they relisted the property again in 2020. So it went back on the market for $4.9 million. Now, between 2013 and 2020, real estate real estate had gone up quite a lot because we saw from 2019 to 2020 we saw a 12% increase. Real estate did double from 2013 to 2020. So in a way, that kind of was, on par with the increases year over year. So they didn't double the price, but they increased it by about 20% from their previous listing price, but still, it's still way out of whack with reality. Now, the final price, it's still on the market. They put it. It's now sitting at it's sitting at about $6 million, and now we know that year between 2020 and 2025, real estate went up a tiny bit. Maybe went up maybe 10%, but we also saw a fall between 2022 and 2024 of about 7 or 8%. And then it just between 2024 and 25, we actually saw an increase of 2.6%. They're still, they increased it yet again, 20% increase. So they're always about double in price. They double the price of what actual value for that area is. I mean, granted, yes, it's a nice place here, but there's another thing happening here too. Yes, they did some renovations back in, I think it was 2013, but and they probably spent seven figures, which it looks it. But between, let's say, 2013 and 2025, so that's 12 years. Those renovations are no longer relevant anymore. In fact, they've decreased in value. The actual building has decreased in value, but the land that is sitting on increased. So not only we saw a market decrease, we saw a depreciation in the actual building, but they've also been way out of any sensible price range. So what can we take from this? What's the takeaway? Well, real estate is a business, and to price property in these ridiculous fantasy land prices is just not doing anybody any good, especially for the sellers. The sellers, I don't know what kind of pressure that they're under to sell. Well, I don't think they are, because if they really needed to sell, they would have sold in 2011. They would have priced it what the realtor would have recommended the price would be, and they probably would have did good, because it was a good market then. Even if they were even a little bit outside of the price of the market value, they still would have done pretty well. But I mean, this crazy pricing is just it's just just idiotic completely. I mean, any realtor, I mean, just to put your name on a sign like that and have that kind of a listing is just such a travesty of professional ethics, in my opinion. Why would you do that? And why would you work with somebody that has just no clue on what so, I mean, I get it if you're 20% over market value, or even 25%, but understand that when nothing comes in after the first month, then you have to take some action. Usually it's a price reduction. Because here's the thing. I mean, I said this many times to sellers, and I mean, say you've got Max Milk is selling milk for $4 a quart, and 7-Eleven is selling it for $11 a quart. Where would you buy your milk? You'd buy it at Max Milk. Let's say 7-Eleven is putting big neon signs, and they've got helicopters dropping pamphlets all over the neighborhood saying milk, $11 a quart, $11 a quart. But Max Milk is still selling it at $4 a quart. Where would you buy your milk? No, you'd buy it at Max Milk. So let's say if they continue, they got neon signs. 7-Eleven's got neon signs and helicopters, dropping pamphlets and dropping parachuters with big parachutes saying milk, $11 a quart, and holding big signs and spotlights shining on these signs. Milk, $11 a quart. Milk, $11 a quart. Where would you buy your milk? You'd buy it at Max Milk for $4 a quart. So you see, ladies and gentlemen, folks, everybody, it doesn't matter how much you market a property. If you're marketing an overpriced listing, you're just telling more people that your house is overpriced, because nobody's going to be dumb enough to spend 2-3 times what the property is valued at. Understand, when people are spending 7 figures or more in this day and age, in Toronto, people do their research. People hire professionals, and people do their research. They spend months, sometimes years, researching areas, so they know what properties are worth. So this I just want to really hammer home the silliness of these properties that get listed, and people want to play realtor, and they watch all these silly shows that glorify all this silly behavior, because this is just silliness beyond measure. So anyhow, I mean, I wanted to bring that to bear and talk about it. because it's a fascinating topic. But what you could take away of this, let's not entertain this kind of behavior, because you're not doing yourself any good. You're gonna set yourself up for big disappointment. Listen to your professional that knows what pricing is. If you think you know a bit more than your professional, you're mistaken. You will not. If somebody works in the area and has done it and sold lots of real estate, I get it. I understand that you want to sell your home for more, because the more money in your pocket. I get it. You get more money in your pocket. But listen, we got to be realistic when we're selling your home. I mean, if it's worth what it's worth. It's worth what a buyer is willing to pay and what you're willing to accept. If you can't accept the offers that are coming in, then it's still in limbo land what that property is going to sell for. But at the end of the day, when 10 offers are in spitting distance with each other and you're not taking them, then you're the problem. But anyway, that's all we have for today. Ouch! I bumped my knee again. So don't forget, like, subscribe, share. Subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment. This is a hot topic, probably. I'm sure the comments will light up on this, and I hope they do, because I'd love to talk about them. Also, if you have any questions about real estate, if you want to know what this property is, I can take you on a tour on it, but I don't recommend it. You're not going to get the price that it's going to sell that they want. So, but I will tell you about this property if you message me in the comments, and I'll give you all the information that you want. But I'm sure you'll be able to search it out, no problem. So there it is. Don't forget, every Thursday, 5 o'clock, I put out a new video, and we're going to get back to a new format soon, more than one video a week. So thanks again, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.